is this you on the cover of the Teen Idols
Yeah.
Dischord #1?
Yeah, I think I'm on the first 3 Discords. That's me. Those are my hands, and I still have the jacket and the wristband and everything,
Wow.
and the button.
Wow.
And then the second record is me, the Minor Threat. The classic Minor Threat and Bald Head.
Yeah, I got that.
Me,
Yep.
right?
Got that.
And then S.O.A. I'm in the back. There's a crowd. There's a picture of a bunch of people dancing, and I'm in that. So by a fluke, I guess I'm on all those.
Yeah. Here's the Minor Threat one. So this was sort of like standard operating procedure for Dischord, is that we got to get Alec on the record, right?
I do not think it was planned that way at all.
Yeah. Could you glean us any background on sort of this photo or this moment?
It's at Wilson Center. I may or may not be snoozing at it. I mean, we used to have these marathon shows. Somebody would book a night there, and then you'd have like 3 bands on the bill, and it would suddenly turn into like 6 bands on the bill. And then I also would just, I didn't sleep at night. I would go out and do, would just be up all night. And so I was taking a break, I guess, between songs, between bands. And, but it's on the steps going up to the stage at Wilson Center.
Oh, yeah. Pat Baldwin asks, was that the steps of the Wilson Center?
Yeah, but inside, not that there's also a big bunch of steps on the outside that everybody hung out, but that's just on the stage, like stage right. Well, stage left, I guess you'd say.
Who put together the packages of these early? What am I looking for? The designer or the graphics designer who put together Jeff
Nelson? Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, right. He's a great graphic designer.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you also know that we would, like the first Teen Idols. I guess nobody knew better, but they got it printed on photographic paper, like glossy, thick.
Yeah,
cardstock almost.
Yeah, I remember that.
We had like a template how to cut it so you could fold it all, but it didn't fold very easy. So we assembled everything, but every record was cut and folded.
How did the Untouchables play out? Why did it end? And how did your journey continue after that?
Untouchables played locally only. We played, I think, one out of town show was down in Virginia Beach at the Taj Mahal, put on by a guy named Greg Webb. It was Teen Idols and Untouchables, and aside from that, we only played in DC because we were all too young to drive. We really, but we were together for 2.5 years maybe, and then I think, I don't remember why we stopped playing. I guess maybe I don't remember, but we tried to sort of segue into a new band called No Authority that actually got on a flyer, but we never made any songs or did anything. It didn't. We had the idea for the band, but it didn't work out. And then it was just kind of low key. It seemed like a really long time for me, but it was probably a year. And then Faith formed, and that was with Chris Bald and myself. And it was really when Henry in '81, when Henry joined Black Flag, he basically, because he was more or less living at our house. Remember, if he wasn't living in the house, he was living in his car in front of our house. So when he went to LA, he was like, he thought I should sing for S.O.A. Kind of didn't really, it didn't come together that way. We just wrote all new stuff anyway. There's like maybe one tune that might be left over from S.O.A. that has different lyrics now. So it was Michael and Ivor, because in this picture that's Simon Jacobson playing bass. Playing drums, but he left to go to school, and then they had a drummer named Ivor Hansen. So Michael and Ivor and I decided to do basically S.O.A. but starting with all new songs. And then Chris Bald had started going to Wilson, so I met him there, and we got him to play bass, and and that's how the Faith started.
Did you ever just and I love when the guests, I don't have to ask the questions when they just monologue it, which you just did, because I have it here in bold letters. Is it true that Henry Rollins asked you to take his place in S.O.A? So I didn't even have to ask that. But did it ever get to the point where you got together with these guys and actually tried to sing these songs, or was it right off the bat we were like, we're not doing that?
I think we decided not to. I think it was really a real decision to not continue with S.O.A, and that's also right at the in the beginning of all that. Like DC is sort of noted for bands really not flogging a dead horse.
It really is.
You just break them up and start over, and it
really is.
You have all the ingredients you need to keep on making new cakes. You don't have to keep eating the same cake forever. And
interesting.
So I feel like so we just did that. It was not really a thing to it. And Chris Bald is brilliant person, brilliant writer, lyricist, and great artist. So we had plenty to work with of our own to start a new band.
So let's talk a little bit about this gem here. And how did this, which is the Faith Void split 12-inch, how did this come to be?
Again, we went in the studio. Faith went in the studio, and I can't say for sure that we thought we were going to make an album out of it, but what we had was too short for a whole 12-inch. Too long for a 7-inch, but it was we knocked it out in like 3 days maybe. It was very, very quickly done. And then we had this tape that we were, I guess, sending around. I don't remember there was a goal to begin with, but then I believe it was my brother that was like, well, you have this tape, and Void has this other recording, also not quite long enough. What about putting them together? And it couldn't be, in a way, it couldn't have more opposite things, but also the mutual admiration between the bands, like absolutely, fucking Void was amazing to, just loved, awesome people, loved seeing them play. And anyway, it was a kind of crazy idea, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And definitely had no idea what kind of legs this thing would have, like what, and people, it to this day, it's now, like right now, there's a band in New York City that I'm aware of that's called Faith Void.
Is that right? That's great. That's great.
They pick it up, and they put it on, and then there was that guy, Bill Cunningham, I think is who did Smog, and he had an album called Faith Void, and there was an art exhibit in New York called Faith Void. I can't remember the artist's name right now, but it's a concept that people, when people think about it in this deconceptualized way, it gets way heavier, and if you try to hold on to it, if we were to say like, don't do that, let it go, let's see where it goes. It's really so it's been an interesting experience being a part of that.